So I have another story about nanotechnology to fight COVID. So there's not just one solution. And so I found this on LinkedIn. The idea is there's these things called nanosponges that can help fight COVID-19 more as a treatment rather than a vaccine. And so the way they work is they actually mimic lung cells to attract the virus and stop the virus from infecting and replicating.
So
So
soak them up.
they soak them up.
That's
right?
weird.
And so the way they work, they're made up of bio-friendly polymers with a like thin cell membrane outer layer. And so, according to researchers, the virus actually has a higher affinity to these nanoparticles rather than, actual
Like
lung
human
cells.
lung tissue.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
Whoa.
That's cool.
So that's just through pure testing. I'm sure they found that. But the idea is that the virus actually dies once it's sucked into the droplet.
Is there something else in it that like kills it, or is it just like not good in that environment or whatever?
I guess it's just not good in that environment. And the good thing about it is that the human body immune system can get rid of the nanosponges because they're biodegradable. So
weird.
It just becomes waste and prevents it from replicating and just gets rid of it by killing the virus. And you only need a few droplets and you just put it into your body. And then the virus can't have replicated immensely at that point, but if you get it early enough, then this bio-friendly polymer can help treat this virus. It's another potential solution. So
Another therapeutic potentially.
exactly.
So then what are the drawbacks to like these solutions that we have so far? Because it seems, I always feel like the science is there, but it's like, a lot of the policies that kind of can hold things back, or there might be flaws that haven't been worked out yet.
Yeah, it's always hard to go from the R&D stage up to mass production, but I think being able to produce all of these, because I'm sure it's not natural to have this polymer kind of composite with a lung cell membrane outer layer, and to be able to produce that probably takes time. Those are the two biggest drawbacks in nanoscience in general, is being able to produce it on a bulk scale mass production, but also from the medicine perspective specifically, there are a lot of nanoparticles are inherently toxic in the human body. And so you have to functionalize it, put it with like other polymers, other like proteins or whatever, so that that reduces the intrinsic toxicity of those nanoparticles.
One final news article, unless you have anything to add about yours, Puneeth.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. So on to the third news topic. So is once again around COVID-19, because it seems to be a big deal these days. And this one actually is not a therapeutic, but rather a new way to test for COVID-19. The current significant issue with the way we test for COVID-19 is that you have to go to a testing facility to go get the test conducted because of how specialized it is. Then the results have to be interpreted by someone in the lab. It's complicated, and the turnaround is not always super fast. And ideally, when we're facing an issue of this scale, we'd kind of like everyone in the world to test themselves every day and know positive or negative if they can go into work and live their normal lives. So nanotechnology actually helps address that problem. But essentially what this test is that there's gold nanoparticles, which are, I think it's some sort of functionalization, but they're attached to a specific molecule, which will change color as some sort of testing solution. So it unfortunately requires some sort of nasal swab again, but it also kind of vaguely said in the paper, the press release about this, that a saliva sample was okay too, which would be great, because if you could just like spit in a cup with this, that would be like fantastic, because that's super simple. But the main advantage of this is that the test to return a result takes 10 minutes to react with these gold coated nanoparticles, and it's a color changing solution. So it provides a very obvious visual indicator as to what the result is, which to me seems like a very elegant and sophisticated solution. And it's something that, when I think of a simple test like a pH strip or something, that's the sort of thing I'd like to see for this crisis that we're facing. So that all sounds fantastic. There are a few caveats though, so that this information is based on these preliminary findings. And it is a major improvement in terms of the timetable to prove a positive case. And it is great that there is no like complicated laboratory test for. It's a preliminary study at this point. So once again, it's something that, hopefully could get ramped up substantially to apply it to this current situation that we're facing. So yeah, we'll put the link to that article in our show notes. And in theory, it could actually be a lot cheaper too. That's the other thing. Could actually be a lot cheaper to do overall.
Is it the optical properties that give it the color changing result? Do you know the science behind that?
So from what it sounds like, it's the interaction of the viral particles with the molecule that's functionalized on the gold that produces the color change.